We got lots of beautiful stadiums here in America, but which ones are good enough for the World Cup? Let's talk about them.
Would you be my done? I still got a lot of shit to learn.
Hey, what's up guys? It's your boy Drew here, back with yet another video for all you American soccer fans out there. And in this video, we're going to be talking about which stadiums in America could get approved to host World Cup matches when the 2026 World Cup comes back to North America. If you guys didn't see my last video where I totally went ballistic, I was like mad excited that we got approved to host the World Cup again. I'll leave a link for that video down below. You guys can go check it out, go laugh at me, but hit that like button while you're over there because that really helps your boy Drew out. So this list I'm going to give you guys is basically just my list, like my own thoughts. I came up with this list by myself. I looked at all the 16 proposed cities that were given to FIFA, and we're only going to have 10 of them selected. So just based off all like the capacities I looked up, where the stadium's located, what state is in, like if this state has an MLS team, just based off all that stuff, that's how I made my decision. But before we get started, guys, as always, if you guys love soccer, you guys are hungry soccer fans in America, and you want to see soccer grow in this country, then hit that subscribe button and be part of the change. So without further ado, let's get to it. If you guys didn't already know, by the time this 2026 World Cup rolls around, the tournament is going to be expanded to 48 teams, which right now it's currently I think at 32. So it's going to be a lot more teams, which means that's going to bump the games played to 80 games overall, which 60 of the games are going to be played in the USA, while the other 20 are going to be split between Mexico and Canada, which I'm guessing is going to be 10 Mexico, 10 Canada, because that makes the most sense. That'd be the most fair between both of them, even though we have the most. And you know what? A lot of people are like saying like, why did USA get like the biggest chunk of, you know, the game selected? Like, why can't Mexico at least have a bigger chunk than Canada? Because a lot of people say Mexico is like a bigger soccer country than America and Canada, which is I think definitely true. But basically is the way when wow, I'm starting bad. When we put the bid in for FIFA, Mexico and Canada obviously they wanted to host, right? But they needed the USA to bid with them more than we needed Mexico and Canada to bid with us. So basically we did them like a bigger favor than they did us. So like, you know what, like we did you a favor, guys. We got you guys World Cup status. You guys get to host. You guys are probably going to get automatically qualified. And we're just going to take a bigger chunk of the games. I mean, that still kind of sees what I'm saying. Whatever. Let's not get into that. By the way, World Cup fever is lit right now. Everywhere in this fucking country. I mean, it would have been more lit if USA was in it, but let's not talk about that. But of course, guys, I'm rooting for Peru. You guys can see my Peru jersey here. I'm gonna watch my family. We're all like excited so far about Peru. I mean, they lost their first game, but whatever. It's just the first game. We still get to win, have a chance to win the other ones, and then, you know, get eliminated in the round of 16 probably. But that's cool. I'd love to know what teams you guys are rooting for. I'm rooting for Peru, like I said, and also I'm rooting for Argentina just because I want the king himself, Messi, to win a World Cup. So all those fucking haters stop saying that he's not gonna be the best unless he wins the World Cup. Whatever. So yeah, let me know who you guys are rooting for this time during the World Cup down below. I'd love to hear your thoughts on that. Okay, cool. So the first stadium I put down on this list was, of course, how could you not? Oh my god, Atlanta's Mercedes-Benz Stadium. This stadium, I think, is my favorite stadium that we have in this country. I think it's my fucking favorite stadium in the world because I've never been there, obviously, but it's like so dope. I mean, look at it, just right here. Look at it. It's beautiful. The capacity is 71,000. Come on, how can this stadium get snubbed? There's no way in hell that FIFA's going to look over the stadium. Atlanta Stadium has boosted soccer interest in Atlanta and for the MLS itself. Just that massive, beautiful stadium has brought so much attention to the team and city and MLS in general, which they should really be thankful for. It's one of the most beautiful stadiums in America and has a retractable roof, which is something that FIFA really is going for this time when it decides to pick stadiums. Next up, I have Gillette Stadium in Boston, Massachusetts. I'm not really in Boston, but like around there, kind of more of Foxborough area. That capacity is about 65,000 capacity, which can expand to about 70,000. In 1994, it did host some World Cup matches when it was called the Foxborough Stadium, which was the stadium before the current Gillette Stadium. You get the gist. Same thing. I think Boston would be a great area to host World Cup matches. Definitely big metropolitan area. Did I say that right? Who cares? Next up, I got FedEx Field in Washington, D.C. That capacity is 82,000 for that stadium. There's no way you can have a World Cup in the United States without having some games in the nation's capital. I don't see FIFA overlooking FedEx Field as one of the venues for the World Cup in 2026. After all, I did host some games for the 1994 World Cup, though the stadium was called RFK Stadium back then. But like I said, just like with the Gillette Stadium, Foxborough Stadium, same thing. They've had experience hosting. I'm sure soccer interest around there is way higher, especially with you DC fans over there. So yeah, definitely I think FedEx Field is going to be one of the major picks, if not one of the first picks that FIFA picks. Next up, we got Hard Rock Stadium in Miami, Florida. That capacity is 64,767 to be exact, and they can expand to about a little over 67,000, which is great. Miami missed out on hosting some World Cup matches in the 1994 World Cup. They missed out on Orlando because Orlando got picked over them, but this time I think that Miami could get the pick over Orlando. Next up, I have one of my favorite stadiums here in the USA, and that's MetLife Stadium in New Jersey / New York. It's not really in New York, but it's close to it. It's like literally 20 minutes from Manhattan, 5 minutes from New York City. But they have the potential of expanding their 82,500 capacity to 87,000, a little over 87,000. There's rumors that the potential final match could be played here in New Jersey in the MetLife Stadium. I think that would be the best place to have a final. It staged a Super Bowl, Copa America, Centenario final, and countless international friendlies that always have a good turnout for a demographic of soccer. They almost always sell out international friendlies. I remember one time I didn't go. I didn't go to this. This is fucking bullshit. The Brazil-Argentina game was there, which was packed. It was a sold-out house. That was like back in like 2012, I think, or 2013, when it was like Messi versus Neymar, and like Messi scored like 4 goals, Neymar scored a hat trick. They were just like one up in each other. It was like the best international friendly played there. I wish I went, but I was fucking working at ShopRite at that time. You guys don't want to hear about my life. You guys just want to hear about the list. Let's get to it. So I think California will most likely get both of their proposed stadiums because California is such a huge state, and also the fact that California is such a huge soccer market for MLS and for American soccer in general in this country. So there's no reason why they wouldn't pick both of their proposed stadiums. And one of those proposed stadiums is the Rose Bowl in Los Angeles with a 92,000 capacity. That's the biggest stadium we have on this list, and I think maybe in the country itself. If I'm wrong, terribly sorry. I don't really follow too many American football teams to know all these stadiums and who plays there and what the biggest stadium is. Whatever. The Rose Bowl staged the 1994 World Cup final between Italy and Brazil, which I'm sure was fucking lit. It's one of America's best and most popular stadiums. I mean, look at this thing. It's insane. It's beautiful. It's like just pure like roses. I don't know. It's beautiful, but not as beautiful as the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. Everyone has to agree, but this one has like an old timely American look to it, like just a classic look. It doesn't have a roof or anything, but fuck it, who cares? It's summer. The second proposed stadium to FIFA was Levi's Stadium in San Francisco, which has a capacity of 68,500, which is expandable to 75,000. It's a huge, massive metro area, San Francisco, and it also has hosted some matches for the 1994 World Cup, so they've also got some experience hosting some soccer matches in the past. So like California, Texas is also a massive state, the second biggest state in this country, only behind Alaska. And they've also got a pretty decent sized soccer market in that state, which is a good handful of professional soccer teams for them. So there's no reason why both of their proposed stadiums wouldn't be approved. At least I think both of them could be approved. And both of those stadiums are, the first one, AT&T Stadium, which has a capacity of 80,000. And then also, that's in Dallas, by the way. And also the Houston Stadium the NRG Stadium in Houston, which capacity of 71,000, which can expand to over 72,000. And both of those stadiums have hosted international matches in the past, so international friendlies to be exact. So they've got experience hosting soccer games, which is going to be great for them. So the last venue I have for this list is none other than CenturyLink Field in Seattle, Washington. With this is probably the only soccer-specific, or I guess you can say MLS-specific stadium on this list, or the only one that's been proposed. I think the only one that's good enough, the only one that's big enough too. I guess you can argue that the Mercedes-Benz Stadium is like just for Atlanta, but I think it can be for Atlanta United and also for the Atlanta Falcons, so I didn't really count that as like a just MLS specific stadium. And I'm pretty sure CenturyLink Field is just for soccer matches, and it has a capacity of 69,000, which you can expand to 72,000. Honestly, I think it would be crazy if FIFA overlooked such a significant MLS stadium to host some World Cup matches. I mean, it's in Seattle. It's a great soccer market. Seattle is one of the biggest soccer markets for MLS. It has lots of passionate soccer fans there. Seattle is one of the most recognized teams in the MLS and cities in America, so I really don't think there's no reason why they wouldn't get selected. Well, that's my list, guys. I know I left out some pretty big cities on this list, but it was so hard to pick. I left out Nashville, Cincinnati I had to leave out, Philadelphia, which I'm from fucking Pennsylvania, so you'd think I'd put Philadelphia on this list, but just based off just because the eastern side of all these stadiums that are going to be selected, I think it's just so clumped together. I mean, we have the Boston Stadium, we have Washington D.C., we have the New York/New Jersey Stadium. All that, they're all kind of close together, not like too far. So I think putting a Philadelphia in there could get like a little like cluttered. I mean, I would love it. I know everyone here in that area would love it too, because you guys can drive to this one, drive to Jersey, drive to Philadelphia, go down to Washington D.C. if you guys want to take a big vacation. I mean, that's what I'm planning to do. But I think that'd be like too. Like, I don't think people would want to have all those stadiums clumped together. I think they want to spread it out somewhere. Like, put more in the middle of the country for people in the middle of the country, obviously Midwest. But yeah, let me know your thoughts down below. There's some stadiums that I left out that you guys think could actually make it as one of the proposed selected World Cup hosts. Let me know your thoughts down below. And as always, guys, leave all your soccer questions and comments and everything down below. I love to hear you guys' comments. I love to read them all. I love to interact with you guys because, like I said, I don't talk to anyone in my life about soccer except you guys, so it gets me excited when I talk about soccer. I think that's why it gets so weird on camera, because I'm like excited talking about my passion. But anyway, as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time.